Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya
Narayanam
Narayanam
Namaskritya
Namaskritya
Naman Naranchaiva Narottamam
Naram Deva
Naranchaiva
Narottama
Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim
Devim
Saraswati
Saraswatim
Vyasam
Vasam
Tojayamudirayed
Tado
Todayam
Jayamudiraye
Udiyate
Ashtaprayesha Bhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshu
Nastaprayesu
Abhadreshu
Bhadresu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam
Nityam
Bhagavate
Bhagavata
Sevaya
Sevaya
Bhagavate Uttama Shloke
Bhagavate
Bhagavate Uttama
Namaste
Shloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki
Bhakte
Bhaktir
Bhavati
Bhavati
Naistati
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Krishnaya
Krishnaya
Vasudevaya
Vasudevaya
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Devaki
Devaki
Nandanaya
Nandanaya
Cha
Nanda Gopakumaraya
Nanda
Nandagopa Kumaraya
Gopakumaraya
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Govindaya
Govindaya
Namo
Namo
Namaha.
Namaha.
Yeah, thank you, Hare Krishna. So we are discussing the conversation between Uddhava and Vidura. In the last chapter, Vidura inquired about Krishna, Lord Krishna and Yadus and their welfare, and also Pandavas' welfare. Now, in this chapter, Uddhava answers those questions from Vidura, and he also remembers Lord Krishna in this chapter. So we'll look at how he remembers. Sri Shuka Uvacha
Sri Sukhovacha
Sukavacha
Iti Bhagavata Prishta
Iti
Iti
Bhagavata
Bhagavata Prista
Kshatravartam Priyasarayam
Kshatravartam
Shatravartam
Priyasrayam
Priyasayam
Prativaktum na Chotseha
Prativaktum
Prativaktam
na
na
Choteha
Choteha
Aukanchyat Smariteshvara.
Aukuntya
Akutyantya
Smariteshvara.
Smarteswara.
Please read.
Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, when the great devotee Uddhava was asked by Vidura to speak on the messages of the dearest Lord Krishna, Uddhava was unable to answer immediately due to excessive anxiety at the remembrance of the Lord.
So Uddhava is always in smaranam of Lord Krishna, being his dear devotee. And just that Lord Krishna just left the world at the time when Vidura was inquiring about Lord Krishna. So he was, as soon as Krishna's name is uttered, because of his intense attachment, he was immediately remembering Krishna and feeling anxiety that he was missing him now. Yah pancha hayana matra
Yah
Yeah,
Pancha
Panchayana
Eno Matra
pratar ashaya yachita
Pratar
Avashayachita
Yachita
tannaicha rachan yasha rachati
Tannaicha Prachayasya
Tannaichadricha Yasya
saparyam balalilaya.
Saparyam
Saparyam
Balalilaya.
Balalilaya.
he was one who, even in his childhood, at the age of 5 years, was so absorbed in the service of Lord Krishna that when he was called by his mother for morning breakfast, he did not wish to have it.
Are you going to temple at 7:30?
I'll come. Okay. Yeah. Yes. So Uddhava from his very childhood, of even when he was only 5 years old, he was always absorbed in Lord Krishna remembrance, and so he would not even eat, and just wanted to always used to have toys of Krishna, like dolls of Krishna, and he would just serve him like one serves the deities. So this is the nature of pure devotees. If you all remember, even uh, many pure devotees are like this. Like Prahlad Maharaj was like that. From his very childhood, he was always in remembrance of Lord. Pandavas were like that. Yeah. So in this way, pure devotees are always in remembrance of Lord. Even Srila Prabhupada would say that he was when he was a very young boy of 7 years, he conducted Radha Yatra, and it was mentioned in his Leelamrita that there was no time when he forgot Krishna from his very childhood, because these births are very special. These are born devotees, so they never forget Krishna. Yeah.
From his very birth, Uddhava was a natural devotee of Lord Krishna or Nitya Siddha, a liberated soul. From natural instinct, he used to serve Lord Krishna even in his childhood. He used to play with the dolls in the form of Krishna. He would serve the dolls by dressing, feeding, and worshipping them, and thus he was constantly absorbed in the play of transcendental realization. There are the signs of an eternally liberated soul. An eternally liberated soul is a devotee of the Lord who never forgets him. Human life is meant for reviving one's eternal realization with the Lord, and all religious injunctions are meant for awakening this dormant instinct of the living entity. The sooner this awakening is brought about, the quicker the mission of human life is fulfilled. In a good family of devotee, the child gets opportunity to serve the Lord in many ways. A soul who is already advanced in devotional service has the opportunity to take birth in such a enlightened family. This
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Nitya Siddha devotee, Uddhava, from his very childhood, he was exhibiting all these transcendental qualities. So, like that, even even devotees uh, of today's time, we all have to give the opportunity to our next generation in the same way. We should give the opportunity for them to always remember, by could be anything like buying books that they can, that make them remember Krishna, or artwork, right? So anything like that. So in this way, uh, it is actually the fortune of the devotee, the child, to be born in family of devotees. It is mentioned that in Srimad Bhagavatam, the demigods are continually praying to the Supreme Lord that they may be born in Kali Yuga in the family of devotees. So, because in Kali Yuga, the process is very easy to achieve perfection. Just by chanting the holy name, and in a very short period, one can achieve the highest perfection. And this is a mega opportunity. It's not possible in any other ways. There is no other method as easy as chanting. So it is something that demigods are praying. So when children are born in devotees family, understand that they are coming with lot of sukriti. So in Bhagavad Gita also Krishna mentions that it's all suchinam srimatam dehe. Either you are born with riches or born in a family of highly transcendental devotees. So these are considered the greatest births in the material world, because the opportunity to practice devotion service is readily available for them, right? Yeah.
The Pancharatri formula for training persons in devotional service is temple worship, whereby the neophytes get the opportunity to learn devotional service to the Lord. Maharaja Parikshit also used to play with Krishna dolls in his childhood. In India, the children in good families are still given dolls of the Lord. Lord like Rama and Krishna are sometimes the demigods, so that they may develop the aptitude of service to the Lord. By the grace of Lord, we are given the same opportunity by our parents. And the beginning of our life was based on this principle.
Mhm. Yeah. Hmm. This is what happens in in India. Sakatam sevaya tasya
Sakatam sevaya tasya
tasya
kalena jarasham gata
kalena jirasam
sampatha
ishto vartam pratibhruyat
dusto
Vardam
vartam
Pratibriyat
bhartu padav anusmaran.
bhartupadam
Smaran Smaran.
Hmm. Please read.
Uddhava thus served the Lord continually from childhood, and in his old days that attitude of service never slackened. As soon as he was asked about the message of the Lord, he at once remembered all about him.
Yeah. So Uddhava, it's mentioned as now in his old days. Uh, Generally, old age means all the senses will become weak, and people generally take retirement from the work, etc. Right? Because they're not as capable as they were before. But in the devotion service, one is never slackened. In fact, one's attachment to Krishna increases, and they would always look forward to the service of Lord. So that's the difference between mundane service and devotional service. Uh, the sooner we develop the attachment to Krishna, it's very, very heart satisfying and heart attracting, right? So one is never tired of it, unlike mundane service. Uh, yeah. So here Uddhava immediately remembered. So this is what uh, one we all have to at one point develop. Right now we don't have, because we are attracted to so many other things of this world right now. But when we become purified in our heart, right, all the others are gradually slackened, reduced. That pure eternal love for Krishna arises, and one will always relish in this remembrance of Lord. Just by remembering, one is in continuous joy. That's not experienced today.
Transcendental service to the Lord is not mundane. The service attitude of devotee gradually increases and never becomes slackened. Generally, in old days, a person is allowed retirement from mundane service, but in the transcendental service of the Lord, there is no retirement at all. On the contrary, the service attitude increases more and more with the progress of age. In the transcendental service, there is no satiation and therefore there is no retirement. Materially, when a man becomes tired by rendering service in his physical body, he is allowed retirement, but in the transcendental service, there is no feeling of fatigue because in its spiritual service and is not in the bodily plane. Uddhava undoubtedly became old, but that doesn't mean that his spirit became old. His service attitude matured on the transcendental plane, and therefore, as soon as he was questioned by Vidura about Lord Krishna, he at once remembered his Lord by reference to the context of and forgot himself on his physical plane.
Yeah. Even though he has become old, doesn't mean like he's not. Uddhava is a Uddhava's body is spiritual, and he never became physically old. But on this earth planet, it's been long since he was born, and in that way, it is mentioned as becoming old. Yeah, his service attitude only increased towards Lord over the time, and he never forgot. You know, so he, because of his bhava bhakti towards Lord, right? Prema bhakti towards Lord, he was in constant remembrance of Lord. Right? This is a symptom of pure devotee. Even when Lord Chaitanya was in this world, when he was in Gambhira, as soon as somebody makes him remember, you know, Lord Krishna, as soon as that happens, he would immediately go into ecstasy, and uh, for many hours he would be in ecstasy. And again, devotees would chant the holy name and bring him to the material plane. So this is the nature of transcendental remembrance of Lord. This is the sign of pure devotion service of the Lord. Yeah. In our case, we, at this point, remembrance of Lord is maybe a far-fetched idea, right? We are not at that stage of devotional life. So until then, what we should do, we should increase our Shravanam. Shravanam is Mananam for neophyte devotees who are still sadhana bhaktas. So we should constantly try to hear either say Prabhupada lecture or another ISKCON Swamis or Prabhu devotees lectures, right? So continuously hearing as far as possible will keep us in that transcendental plane. It it should not be just an occasional thing. Samuhurtam abhutushnim
Muhurtam
Muhurtam abhutushnim
Abhustushnin
Krishnangri sudhaya brisham
Krishnangri
Krishnangre
Krishnangri
Sudhaya
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 Brisham
Prasam
Tivrena bhakti yogena
Tivrena
Tivrena
Bhakti
Bhakti
Yogena
Yogena
magna sadhu nivrita.
Nimagna
Magna
Sadhu
Sadhu
Nivrita.
Nivrata.
Yeah.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. For a moment, he remained dead silent and his body did not move. He became absorbed in the nectar of remembering the Lord's lotus feet in devotional ecstasy, and he appeared to be going increasingly deeper into that ecstasy.
This is the symptom of transcendental experience of Uddhava. Even seventh canto Prahlad Maharaj describes the transcendental symptoms experienced by devotee. How body quivers, hairs stand on the end. There is perspiration and there is um, so the breathing is heavy. So all these are transcendental symptoms. So as soon as just by hearing the word Krishna would take a pure devotee into these ecstatic symptoms because they're so attached to the holy name, the name of the Lord. Yeah.
On the inquiry by Vidura about Krishna, Uddhava appeared to be awakened from slumber. He appeared to regret that he had forgotten the lotus feet of the Lord. Thus, he again remembered the lotus feet of the Lord and remembered all his transcendental loving service unto him. And by so doing, he felt the same ecstasy that he used to feel in the presence of the Lord.
Yeah. This is what happens when devotees come together. They should ideally converse about Lord Krishna, his pastimes, his loving uh, attitude towards the devotees. Then our raga for the Lord increases. That is the ideal association of devotees. We should not just meet to discuss other things other than this. But this is the ideal platform, just like Vidura and what they were doing here. Right? They were just remembering Lord Krishna. One is inquiring, the other is sharing. Pulukod sarvango
Pulakodbhinna sarvango
Vango
janmila drisha sucha
Munchanmi
Munchamila
Drisha
Drishasuchaha
purnardho lakshitastena
Purnartho
Purnartho
Lakshitastena
Lakshitastena
Lakshitena
sneha prasara sampluta.
Sneha
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 Prasara
Prasara
Samprita.
Sampruta.
Yeah. Anyone want to read?
It was so observed by Vidura that Uddhava had all the transcendental bodily changes due to total ecstasy, and he was trying to wipe away tears of separation from his eyes. Thus, Vidura could understand that Uddhava had completely assimilated extensive love for the Lord.
Yeah. So Uddhava is just in full ecstasy and tears. Tears are flowing out of his eyes just like torrents of rain. Just by remembering the Lord. So this is the ideal state of consciousness of a devotee. Yeah. And Vidura could see how advanced Uddhava is.
The symptoms of the highest order of devotional life were observed by Vidura, an experienced devotee of the Lord, and he confirmed by Uddhava's perfectional stage of love of Godhead. Ecstatic bodily changes are manifested from the spiritual plane and are not artificial expressions developed by practice. There are three different stages of development in devotional service. The first stage is that following the regulative principles prescribed in the codes of devotional service. The second stage is that of assimilation and realization of the steady condition of devotional service, and the last stage is that of ecstasy symptomized by the transcendental bodily expression. The 9 different modes of devotional service, such as hearing, chanting, and remembering, are the beginning of the process. By regular hearing of the glories and pastimes of the Lord, the impurities in the student's heart begin to be washed off. The more one is cleansed of impurities, the more one becomes fixed in devotional service.
Yeah. So Navavida Bhakti is the way to advance in spiritual life. And one will go through the 3 stages. One is the sadhana bhakti, bhava bhakti, and prema bhakti. In sadhana bhakti, one follows the regulative principles and steadily practices as per the codes of the scriptures and the guidance of Guru. And in the second stage, one becomes very fixed, nishtha, and then slowly develops ruchi. Right? He becomes very steady in his devotion service, and finally, one advances to become develop love for Krishna. That is the last stage in which one has ecstatic symptoms and bodily expressions as soon as he remembers Lord. Right? So that is where the consciousness of Uddhava is. He was constantly absorbed in transcendental relation of Lord. We have seen even in Lord Chaitanya when he was in, he was in South India tour. as soon as he sees the form of Lord in a different in a different temple every other day, he would transcendently dance in ecstasy. Just by seeing Lord Chaitanya, everybody would become devotees. Just by seeing the symptoms of love, because they haven't seen anything like this. Extraordinary personality. Sanakair Bhagavan Lokam
Sanakair Bhagavallokam
Bhagavad Lokan
Nilokam Punaragata
Nilokam
Lokam
Punaragataha
Punaragatha
Vijya Netre Viduram
Vimrajya
Vimritya
Netre
Netre
Viduram
Vidhuram
Vichahodhava Usmayan.
Vidya Uddhava
Uddhava
Utsmayam.
Ustasya
Yeah.
The great devotee Uddhava soon came back from the abode of the Lord to human plane, and wiping his eyes, he weakened his reminiscence of the past and spoke to Vidura in a pleasing mood.
So he was in ecstasy for almost 45 minutes or so, and then slowly wiping his eyes, he awakened and came to the material realm. He awakened his reminiscence of the past and spoke to Vidura in a pleasing mode. Yeah.
When Buddha was fully absorbed in the transcendental ecstasy of love of God, he actually forgot all about the external world. The pure devotee lives constantly in the abode of the Supreme Lord, even in the present body, which apparently belongs to this world. The pure devotee is not exactly on the bodily plane, since he is absorbed in the transcendental thought of the Supreme.
Yeah. This is the nature of the pure devotee. They are always in constant touch, or constantly in the supreme abode of the Lord. Yeah. Even in the present body. So it's not that only when they go back to Godhead, they are in the abode. While in this world also, they're always as good as living in the abode of the Lord.
The conditional changes of the living entity are explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita in the instructions given to the Srila Rupa Goswami by the Lord Sri Chaitanya. The living entities all over the universes are enjoying the effects of the respective fruitive results of their own work, life after life. Out of all them, some may be influenced by the association of pure devotees and thus get the chance to execute devotional service by attainment of taste. The taste is the seed of devotional service, and one who fortunate enough to have received such a seed is advised to sow in the core of his heart, as one cultivates a seed by pouring water to cultivate it. The seed of devotional service sown in the heart of the devotee may be cultured by pouring water in the form of hearing and chanting of the holy name and pastimes of the Lord. The creeper of devotional service, so nourished, gradually grows, and the devotee, acting as gardener, goes on pouring the water of constant hearing and chanting. The creeper of devotional service gradually grows so high that it passes through the entire material universe and enters into the spiritual sky, growing still higher and higher until it reaches the planet Goloka Vrindavan.
Yeah, so we have to nourish our devotional creeper very carefully. So, and how do we nourish? What is the water and fertilizer for this devotional creeper? The water and nourishment is coming from hearing and chanting. So these are the two main process. As a sadhana bhakta, one has to every day must chant, every day must hear, even for 15 minutes. One should definitely hear. Uh, you know, Preferably Srila Prabhupada or one's own guru or the devotee whom you closely follow, study, hear. So we should definitely hear every day and definitely chant. Ideally 16 rounds minimum. So these are like food for the soul. Just like we eat every day, we cannot live without eating every day to maintain the body. Similarly, we must chant to maintain our devotional consciousness. That's like a basic need for the soul, especially if you want to grow spiritually. Yeah, and also very carefully make sure there are no weeds. What are the weeds that can grow? Anyone want to say what are the weeds that can grow as you try to nourish the your spiritual creeper of bhakti? Some of the weeds, any
Not believing in the philosophy.
yeah, that is true. One should that can be developed. Weeds are I'm talking about weeds that can stop the growth of the
Sense
bhakti.
gratification, not unable to
Mate-
control the senses.
Mhm.
yeah. Material attachment.
Material attachment, yes. Most importantly, ninda of devotees. As criticizing other devotees, especially those who are in good standing, who dedicated their life for devotional life, devotional service. One should be careful not to um, diminish or minimize the you know the service of other devotees or hurt them. Externally hurt them by words or actions, right? So that will hurt our devotion service more than anything else. And also, of course, one should be careful with dealing with material energy, right? Not to get too attached. Now, finally, Uddhava is speaking. Uddhava Uvacha
Uddhava Uvacha
Krishnadhyumaninim Loche
Krishnadhyumani Nimloche
Vinneshva Ajagarenaha
Gigneshwa Ajagarenaha
Kimnuna Kushalam Bhruyam
Kim
Kimno
Kusalam
Gata Shrishu Grihesvaham.
गतश्रीषु ग्रहेष्वहम्
Krishna Jumani Nimloche. Krishna Jumani means the supreme sun, Krishna. Uh, having he just Nimloche means he's not visible anymore. He's set. The sun of Krishna is set. That is the first words he's speaking. Because Krishna just left the world at the time. So he's speaking about that. Krishna Dhumani Nimloche. Hmm. Now the world, as soon as Krishna is the light, just like when sun is not there, now we can see in when sun is not there, darkness will prevail. You know what happens in darkness? All the you know all the all the nighttime elements will become awakened. right? The the insects, all the negative creatures become active. Similarly, when Krishna left, Kali Yuga began. That is a dark age. That's why it's called dark age. When Krishna is there, it's called light age because it's Krishna means complete awakeness. All the living entities are in ecstasy. But the dark age began as soon as Krishna left. Yeah. Girneshva Ajagarenaha means the great snake has swallowed the material existence, the material world. As soon as Krishna, the sun of Krishna has set. Yeah, please read.
The Uddhava said, My dear Vidura, the sun of the world, Lord Krishna, has set, and our house has now been swallowed by the great snake of time. What can I say to you about our welfare?
Hmm. So this is the way pure devotees see, right? We also left Krishna from the spiritual world, but because we are overwhelmed by illusion, we don't feel the separation from Krishna as much. But ideally, this is the condition of any devotee, who is in his proper sane consciousness, right? Ideally, we should be always, feel unfortunate that we left Krishna and are, in this world, in this dark age, every single day, trying to meet our bodily needs on the physical plane. Ideally, you know, we should have been in the spiritual world, right? That is our natural state. But we don't we don't necessarily see in that consciousness because we don't have that much remembrance of Lord. But for a devotee like Uddhava, he can clearly see that this whole existence is now uh, is like swallowed by the great snake of time. Yeah, what can I say? There is no welfare. When Lord Chaitanya left the world, almost the entire Navadvip, Mayapur, and even Puri, every home was dejected because he is like Lord Krishna himself, and people are so attached to him. Nobody was cooking, nobody was, everybody is fast aging, getting to old age, and nobody is talking anything because they were in so much remembrance of Lord Chaitanya. Similarly, here, Lord Krishna, same thing with Lord Rama. When transcendental personalities leave, so this is the state of those who are devotees. Yeah, please read.
And the comparison of Krishna to the sun is very appropriate. As soon as the sun sets, darkness automatically appears. But the darkness experienced by the common man does not affect the sun itself either at the time of sunrise or of sunset. Lord Krishna's appearance and disappearance are exactly like that of the sun. He appears and disappears in innumerable universes, and as long as he is present in a particular universe, there is all transcendental light in that universe. But the universe from which he passes away is put to darkness. His pastimes, however, are everlasting. The Lord is always present in some universe, just as the sun is present in either the eastern or the western hemisphere.
Mm. So the disappearance of Lord Krishna is not like the disappearance of people of this world. It's like sun, right? Sun is just moving around, appearing and disappearing from time to time. So Lord Krishna appearance is also like that. So we are the one who will miss Lord Krishna when he disappears. But Lord Krishna himself, there is no effect, right? Just like sun, sun has no effect. Sun keeps coming and going. Yeah. As at the sunset, the snakes become very powerful. Thieves are encouraged. Ghosts become active. The lotus becomes disfigured, and the Chakravaki laments, so with the disappearance of Lord Krishna, the atheists feel enlivened and the devotees become sorry. Right? So this is what happened when Lord Krishna left. Time keeps on changing, and we see the energy difference. So for example, until now there is summer in US, right? Everybody's out talking. Now slowly winter is setting. Naturally, all the habits change. There is no walking outside. It gets darken very easy, very early in the evening. All the experiences change. So here also similarly, and the mind is a lot of people also go through negative emotional imbalances, and some people go through depression also because of the darkness, and coldness. Uh, so that it has effect on the minds. And other than that, these negative activities and negative things like snakes and all becomes thieves become powerful in the darkness, right? uh, yeah, so Lord Krishna is like the sun, yeah, and he disappeared, and so the negative elements become strong. So in Kali Yuga, naturally devotees will be weak because Lord Krishna already left, and so the you see all the advancement of technology and all, atheistic people will keep doing that more and more as the time advances until the beginning of Satyuga next, right? So that's the nature of how metal world works. So there will be chances for everyone, sometimes when devotees are in ecstasy, sometimes when atheists are in ecstasy, sometimes it is day, sometimes. That's why it's called dual nature. No, dualities exist in the metal world, right? There is always sorrow and happiness. There is cold and then heat. There is duality is part of it. One thing to know is the nothing is permanent. That's the even though it is dark, very soon there is an opportunity when the sun is back again. So there is no need to be depressed about negative things in our life. Everything is short term in this world, including uh, including negative experiences, right? We all go through sometimes. So we don't need to be too worried. Time will heal, time will change. There is always switch between good and bad times. And those who are attached to Krishna, they are always in remembrance of Lord, and Lord would act as a kavacham for them, right? From all these miseries of the material existence because of their remembrance of Lord. Durbhago bataloko yam
दुर्भागो बतलोको यां
Bhagavatalokoyam
yadavo nitaram api
Yadavo
नितरामपि
Nitaramapi
ye samvasanto navidur
या
Ye
Yes,
Sambasto
संतो
Santo Navidur
harimina ivodupam.
Harimina
हरिणीनाय
Ivodupam.
Please read.
This universe, with all its planets, is most unfortunate. And even more unfortunate are the members of the Yadu dynasty because they could not identify Lord Hari as the personality of Godhead any more than the fish could identify the moon.
Yeah. So this universe with all its plans, because when Lord is left, what is there? Everything else doesn't is has lost its significance. Even more unfortunate are the members of Yadu dynasty because they could not identify Lord Hari as the personality of Godhead. Yadus are in the family of Lord Krishna himself. It's not that everyone did not recognize. They all have deep love for Krishna. However, they have seen him as they have seen him as a family member more than the Supreme Lord himself. So Uddhava is feeling that, what opportunity these people had, and uh, unfortunate that they could not identify him as the Supreme Lord. Sometimes moon rises, over waters. A fish also rises from waters, but they're not the same. They're a world apart. Though they look both to have been born from the same waters. However, there is a lot of difference between the two. So similarly, one should not, just because somebody is born in Yadu dynasty, doesn't mean they are equivalent to Krishna. Or uh, just because Lord is born in the middle world, he's like one of us. He's like the moon rising out of the waters. He's not like a fish. Yeah, please read.
Uddhava lamented for the unfortunate persons of the world who could not recognize Lord Sri Krishna in spite of seeing all his transcendental godly qualities. From the very beginning of his appearance within the prison bars of King Kansa up to his Mausala Leela, although he exhibited his potencies as the personality of Godhead in the six opulences of wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation, the foolish persons of the world could not understand that he was the Supreme Lord. Foolish persons might have thought him an extraordinary historic figure, but they had no intimate touch with the Lord. But more unfortunate were the family members of the Lord, the members of the Yadu dynasty, who were always in company with the Lord, but were unable to recognize him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah. So Uddhava was just lamenting that not everybody is able to recognize the the Supreme Lord when he was here in this metal existence. Especially, you know, sometimes even Lord Krishna would go and talk to these Kauravas and try to convince them, just like one of the people of this world. But they, in spite of getting the direct audience of the Lord, they would not be recognizing Lord and his supreme position. They would argue with him. Sometimes they would reject his ideas. Uh, Uddhava was wondering, like, how poor this is original Adi Narayana, and these people are not able to recognize. How unfortunate is the nature of these people. And Yadavas also sometimes, they were treating him, because of the familiarity, they were treating him like one of them. And some of them thought, we are as powerful as Lord. Uh, so So that's the reason for the Mausal Leela, is Mausal Leela, where uh, the Yadu family, they had a fight between among themselves. But at the same time, we should not think that they are any less. They all are, they're all far advanced for our understanding. And this whole Mausal Leela was an arrangement of the Lord, so that all these powerful Yadus, they would leave the earth before he leaves the earth. So that is the reason Lord arranged this Mausal Leela out of his own will. We should not think that they are any less. Uh, but Uddhava says that they were not able to, or not all of them were able to see the Supreme Lord's great qualities or recognize him as the Supreme Lord. Yeah.
The urine of a cow is salty, and according to Ayurvedic medicine, the cow's urine is very effective in treating patients suffering from liver trouble. Such patients may not have any experience of cow's milk because milk is never given to the liver patients. But the liver patient may know that the cow has milk also, although he has never tasted it. Similarly, men who have experience only of this tiny planet Where the saltwater ocean exists, may take information from the revealed scriptures that there is also an ocean of milk, although we have never seen it. From this ocean of milk, the moon was born, but the fish in the milk ocean could not recognize that the moon was not another fish and was different from them. The fish took the moon to be one of them and or maybe something illuminating, but nothing more. The unfortunate persons who do not recognize Lord Krishna are like such fish.
Mm. Yeah. Ingitagna Puru Praudha
Ingita jnana puru
Ingratyan Purupraudha
pravda
Ekaramascha Satvata
Ekaramas
ekaramas
Satvata
satvata
Svatam Rishabham Sarve
Sattvatam Rishabham
rishabham
Sarve
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 Vasamamam Sata
Bhutavasam Amam
bhutavasam
Sata
amam sata.
Hmm.
The Yadus were all experienced devotees, learned and expert in psychic study. Over and above this, they were always with the Lord in all kinds of relaxations, and still they were only able to know Him as the One Supreme who dwells everywhere.
Yeah. So Yadu family, they're all highly, educated spiritually. However, um, they recognized Paramatma feature of the Lord. They did not seize the Bhagavan feature of the Lord, is what Uddhava is saying. Yeah.
Purport by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. In the Vedas, it is said that the Supreme Lord or the Paramatma cannot be understood simply by the strength of one's erudition or power of mental speculation. Nayam Atma pravachanena labhyo na medhaya na bahuna shrutena Katha Upanishad 1.2.3. He can be known only by one who has the mercy of the Lord.
Yeah. So one can understand the Bhagavan feature of the Lord only by the mercy of the Lord. Otherwise, one cannot understand the. So one gets to that stage by the mercy of the Lord, and one can achieve the mercy of the Lord by by achieving the mercy of Guru and other devotees, right? And how do we achieve the mercy of Guru and devotees? By serving them. So that is the way it works. So we serve the devotees, we please the devotees, and when devotees are pleased, Lord is pleased, and that's how we develop devotion or progress in devotion life, right? So otherwise, through knowledge, understanding of scriptures and study of them, we can only come to the stage of understanding of Paramatma feature of the Lord. One cannot understand the Bhagwan feature of the Lord or experience that just by mere uh, study of scriptures.
This lack of knowledge was not due to their insufficient erudition. It was due to their misfortune. In Vrindavana, however, the Lord was not even known as the Paramatma because the residents of Vrindavana were pure unconventional devotees of the Lord and could think of Him only as their object of love. They did not know that He is the personality of Godhead. The Yadus or the residents of Dwaraka, however, could know Lord Krishna as Vasudeva or the super soul living everywhere but not as the Supreme Lord.
Yeah. So in Vrindavana, the devotees did not see Lord as Paramatma. They were just seeing this. This is an object of love. They just want to always serve and please the Lord. That is the attitude of Vrajavasis. Right? But Yadus, on the other hand, the family of Krishna in Dwaraka, they see Krishna as Vasudeva, or the super soul in the heart. There is a difference between the way each of them perceived the Supreme Lord when he was there in the material world. Devasya Mayaya Sprishta
Devasya
Maya
Maya Sprishta
Yechanyad Asadashrita
Yajanyada
Sadashrita
Ashrita
Bhramyate Dhir Nata Vakyair
Ramyate Dhirnata
Naitat Vakya
Atmani Utpamanoharau.
Atmani
Atmani
Uttato
Atmano Haro.
Manoharo.
Under no circumstances can the words of persons bewildered by the illusionary energy of the Lord deviate the intelligence of those who are completely surrendered souls.
So the devotees are never bewildered by illusory energy, in spite of being in the amidst material circumstances. How many examples do we have seen, right? Prahlad Maharaj, in spite of being surrounded by demons and demonic father, right? He was not touched. He was always a surrendered soul. Bhishma in Kuru, Asat Sabha, he was there always in the association of Kurus. He was untouched. Vidura, right? Vidura also such a person. He was never touched by the bad qualities of Kauravas, 100 Kauravas and Dhritarashtra, his brother. So this is the nature of pure devotees. Under no circumstances can the words of persons bewildered by the illusion energy of the Lord deviate the intelligence of those who are completely surrendered. So surrender is the quality that can keep us pure amidst material circumstances that are overwhelming.
Generally, persons who had faith in the revealed scriptures accepted the Lord as He is, and all of them matured into great uh, bereavement when the Lord disappeared from the world.
Yeah.
The Yadavas were only partially cognizant of the Lord, but they are also glorious because they had opportunity to associate it with the Lord, who acted as a head of their family, and they also rendered the Lord intimate service.
Yeah. So they are still very glorious. We should not consider Yadavas because they didn't recognize him as the Supreme Lord. They have recognized him as the Paramatma and they have rendered a lot of service. So they're all far ahead of us. So we should be careful.
According to the aesthetic point of Lord Krishna family, the Edu dynasty was vanquished due to the being caused by the Brahmanas for the sins committed by Krishna in killing the sons of Dhritarashtra, etc. All these blasphemies do not touch the heart of devotees of the Lord because they know perfectly well what is that. Their intelligence regarding the Lord never disturbed, but those who are disturbed by the statements of the asuras are also condemned. This is what Uddhava meant in this verse.
Yeah, there are so many views of point by atheistic people, and we should not take them seriously at all. And we should not be even disturbed by such statements because they're all, uh, statements of misunderstanding. They do not understand the nature of Supreme Lord. Pradarsha, Pradarshaya tapasam
Radhasha
Tapasam.
Tapasa.
avitriptadrisham rinam
Avitriptadrisham
adayantar adhad yastu
Adhayantar
abhimbam lokalochanam.
Lord Sri Krishna, who manifested his eternal form before the vision of all on the earth, performed his disappearance by removing his form from the sight of those who were unable to see him as he is, due to not executing required penance.
So Uddhava is saying, Lord took the vision of him from the earth because people do not have any more further qualification to see his form. He's just he was in a very he was very disappointed. Lord left already, so he was saying this, that yeah, because we do not have sufficient spiritual credits, Lord has taken himself from our vision, like that he's saying.
In this verse, the word avitripta drisham is most significant. The conditioned souls in the material world are all trying to satisfy their senses in various ways, but they have failed to do so because it is impossible to be satisfied by such efforts.
By senses, we can never be satisfied. Yeah.
The Lord Himself
Go ahead.
comes to display his transcendental pastimes, typically represented at Vrindavana, Mathura, and Dwaraka. He appears just to attract the conditioned souls back to Godhead, back home to the eternal world. But for want of sufficient piety, the onlookers are not attracted by such pastimes of the Lord.
Yeah, so Lord performs great pastimes, and all that is to attract the conditioned souls back to with Goloka Vrindavan. But unfortunately, not everyone is attracted, and based on one's spiritual credits, one will be so much attracted, according to the proportion of spiritual credits one has. And there will be always some atheistic people who will never be able to be attracted. Yeah, so that's their unfortunate state. Yeah. Okay, so we'll continue next week. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna, everyone.